Good evening, everybody. It is 5:30 on the 24th, and we will call the city council meeting for City of Choteau to order. Those present will stand and do the pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Last time I did the pledge standing right here.
Welcome to Councilwoman McCartney Duty.
Thank you.
Welcome to the table. Thank you for coming on board early. Did you have your 10,000 word speech ready for us?
Right in my pocket.
Yeah, right. Good job. Way to be prepared, not need it. First item tonight would be the approval of the city council minutes of the 10th,
So moved.
the 3rd October.
Yeah,
Sorry.
third.
I have a motion from Councilman Murja
I have the third.
for the 3rd. Thank you. And a second from Councilman Howard. Any changes or corrections?
Page 2 is just a typo, chop sealed instead of chip sealed. I didn't know
Chop
if we were
suey
doing
instead
that.
of chip suey?
Oh,
Where's it at?
just say it. Bottom of the
Bottom of the
page
second.
2.
Chop sealed. I didn't know if
That's
you're
okay.
going.
Oh.
While we're sealing.
Alright, I will have that. No.
The joys of having an educator, teacher on this, on the council.
I hate reading them on my phone.
Mm.
Those in favor of approving the corrected minutes from the October 3rd,
Aye.
opposed? Minutes will stand corrected and approved. Leaving the state football season? Nope. Councilman McCauley,
Yes. Where's the calendar?
Where's the calendar?
Tara
far.
redecorated.
Too far. Okay, the 8th to the 11th
Of,
November.
does that mess with one of our council meetings?
I don't think so. It's Wednesday to Sunday,
Okay,
Yes. No.
if that's the right day.
8th to 11th of November is a,
8 to 11.
yep, you're good.
Okay, and the 17th, that weekend, I'm gonna be out of town.
Cat Grizz game?
No, Cougs
Okay,
on the Pullman.
so Councilman McCauley. 8 to 11 and 17 through 19, okay. I may head to Moscow, Idaho for the cat game this weekend, but I wait to see what the weather does.
I was in Idaho yesterday. I'm sorry.
Home,
I need
leaving?
to get cell coverage.
Stuart, you heading out?
No.
All right. First item then would be on our new business is the draw resolution request number 7 for the water project.
Wow.
Tom, is this our last, or do we have one more after substantial complete to wrap up
I
substantial
guess
completion?
there would be one more, but this is gonna be
The biggest of it.
the
Yeah.
last, yeah.
I'll move to approve the draw request number 7 for the water project.
I have a motion from Councilwoman McCauley.
Second.
I have a second from Councilwoman McCartney Duty.
So Chris asked most of my questions, so we're not to substantial completion yet.
We have reached substantial completion.
We
Yes.
have reached
Yes.
substantial completion, okay,
They're working on punch list items.
okay, that's. And how's that going?
As far as I know, so far so good. I've not heard any complaints. I know that they do have a few items to take care of and some landowners to get stuff taken care of with.
Okay,
And Mike goes into a little bit more in his report.
okay, good.
Mel, questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We will take care of draw request number 7. By the way, folks, tonight in council with us is County Planner Brian Goldsworthy, Copper Creek owner, Chamber T-bid guy, wearing all sorts of hats. Phil Spechtold and Mel from the account are here with us. Resolution 912 is to update signers on the bank account. I would take a motion for that.
So
I have a motion from Councilman McCartney Duty, second from Councilman Murja.
who are you putting on there?
Huh?
Stuart.
Okay.
And we're taking Steve off,
Taking Steve D off.
and we have to do this again in January if we elect a different.
If we get a different precedent of the commission council in January, we would have to do it again.
Gotcha.
Okay. It only requires the one signature to go down. We have to go back and sign all the new documents again. Tom, do you know?
Oh my God.
Okay.
So, where this office?
Okay,
Yeah, everybody's gotta sign in.
that's what I thought.
You can thank the Frank Donner.
Yep. Those in favor? Opposed? You'll sign that in the morning, Tom, and then I can have the bank notify us when the documents are ready and we can get in there one by one. Next line would be claims.
Move that we pay the claims.
I have
One second.
a motion from Councilman Merja and a second from Councilman Kokoli. And you have the claims lists? In the book?
Stewart's got it.
Stewart's got it, okay.
It was sent out as well, so.
Any questions on the claims? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Who will pay the bills? That'll jump us into reports. Law enforcement report 31-8 gave us a couple months worth, so there's quite a bit in here to chew on. I kind of like how we did this one. Shows what they've been up to. The different sectors they were in and the accidents, complaints and things like that. It's by far more descriptive than what anything we've got in the past, that's for sure. And I don't know if Devin intended it that way or if he was just in a hurry and decided that was the quickest way to go about doing it. But I do like this format and I will let him know that. If it's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, that's very informative.
We ran across 31-8 yesterday as we were breaking into a car in front of the elementary school yesterday. He comes driving by and it's like, you guys are definitely better prepared to do that than I am. Yes, we were. So someone, not mentioning Don Gunderson's name, locked her keys in a car running in front of the school.
It's ridiculously easy to break into new cars with the,
This was an old one though. This was the older Yukon.
that's what I mean by the newer cars with the electric windows.
Yeah, so we got it taken care of. City judge is here. You can see 4 criminal cases for the city. 2 reckless stop sign criminal, 2 PFMAs. 10 cases altogether.
Is there a reason he sends us
Huh?
all his reports?
What's that?
Is there a reason he sends us all his reports?
Oh,
The judge.
yeah, because he has to fill this piece of paperwork out for the state and it's just as easy to.
Well, there's
Make sure
also
everyone has it.
Fairfield.
Yeah, there's
and
Fairfields.
Yeah, I know.
And then the county.
He normally in the past, he doesn't do
Goes
that.
on
but
and on.
Yeah.
Again, I think he was in a hurry and also I believe we're the only city in the county that asked for these reports.
Okay. Maybe that's how we get them all.
Again, it could be, but not, this is the first time we've gotten for everybody else other than the city of Choteau.
Okay.
We'll jump over to legal. You see Jen's, the 2 PFMAs, the trespass, the theft, and 10 traffic, two dog complaints that will be filed this week. So we'll get an update on those at our next month. I did send Jen some additional paperwork this week to look at on some other codes, and I'll update you guys next week as we're looking at different ways of trying to get some of these vehicles that are sitting on blocks, stumps, unrunning off of our streets.
Have you been up to Rice Avenue and seen how clean that one is?
That one's all on the private, it's been moved out of the right of ways. That's the tough part for us. But we have some over here that we're trying to deal with and some other stuff over here. Where the cars are literally sitting on driftwood.
Well, I was talking about the one that actually got cleaned up.
Oh, yeah, I did get cleaned up, yeah. Well, Jen's gonna do some research on it and go back and the change in doing this came from Austin. Austin thought it might be more effective for us to try this because in dealing with the state DEQ, which is ultimately responsible for it, they tend to care more about unlicensed wrecking yards and things like that, rather than an individual vehicle here and there on the street. But we're gonna do our best to try and get some of those off the street, because if it starts, when it starts to snow, not if, we start plowing, they're gonna bottleneck the streets and we're gonna get more complaints.
Tomorrow. Sorry, Brian.
Before we get to Jody's. Did Jeff not give us one, Tom?
This is
Yeah, Jess was in there.
it's ahead of
I just
the
don't know where to print
sheriff's
it.
department.
Well, there it is. So he did zoning matter, utility issues, access to city utility infrastructures, review materials and communications with city staff regarding zoning code, trailer park. Tom, this is your report on the back for the members' securities report.
Yeah, so we get that delivered to us, just because we are above and beyond the normal amount of coverage, so, but we are fully covered. All of our CVUs and bank accounts.
You're talking about FDIC coverage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coverage.
Yeah. Public Works Director, Mike's report. Steve, what do you make of it?
Looks like they're all pretty busy.
I mean, as you look at the influent to the water,
That report there,
Yeah.
it's up from last year, but
it took a big dive in the middle of late September, though, it looks like. But I know what that's attributed to. It comes into his report down here earlier.
yeah, May, I think, was just all the rain stuff we haven't had fixed quite yet, so.
All of a sample analysis
See
remain
what
good.
Next year's gonna happen.
What's that?
Be interesting to look at next year's comparison after we've done all these improvements.
Yeah, I agree.
Pretty consistent downtrend.
Oh,
relative
yeah.
to Average, yeah. Plugging the holes,
Yep.
I'm missing an old system when you fill the hole.
puts pressure on
A
another.
lot of times it makes another one.
And we didn't get a water pumping report this month because with them, the water lines changes, it's
Yeah.
they have completed the wastewater collection system cleaning. There are parts that they are not going to get to because they've got too much gravel in them. So Pace is coming in and out of Billings to do about 2,500 feet. They'll be here the week of November the 4th to do that cleaning. And they're going to clean the lift station while they're here as well.
Okay.
They did a bunch of work on the lift station to streamline the alarm system. You see they had a valve failure and a vault failure associated with sludge ponds that required extensive repairs.
Really?
They were picking them up and putting them down during those couple of days. 17th,
But they got those.
everything's done, yep. One new residential sewer connection and help with numerous service line repairs. We did have an overflow of about 50 gallons of sludge and filed the sanitary sewer overflow with the DEQ and resolved the obstruction in the line that caused that. Water tests have all come back good. Meter installation has slowed down significantly. And it has almost to a standstill, I would say. They still getting any of them in, Tom? Sure.
Just a random one here and there
Okay.
as people's meters break or.
Okay. They're doing the lead and copper line inventory, which is due in October of next year. As he said in item 4, the 2023 water improvement project has reached substantial completion with 10,800 feet of water main removed and replaced, along with associated valves and hydrants. All major work is completed without withstanding chip sealing on the roads disturbed in the base bid area. We worked with the contractor through the change order where the city would conduct road rehab, prep for chip sealing in the base bid area, and conduct chip sealing in alternate 1 area. Those change orders resulted in approximately $250,000 in savings, which has been used to secure asphalt millings from the I-15 road work to complete the rehab work and perform the chip sealing in alternate area 1. They've also obtained a sewer and 10T leak locator and received training on it, and it looks like it'll be a valuable tool for locating leaks. They have already pinpointed 2 leaks with it and have them repaired. Setting up some work scheme to listen to all major water structures and with an intent to pinpoint additional leaks. On the street side, Milled and compacted, added millings, graded and compacted all streets in the base bid area and alternate one areas of the water project. The streets will remain that way throughout winter and chip seal in early spring, early summer of 2024. We hauled approximately 200 loads of millings from the Power I-15 project to Choteau. Those are the millings that are stacked down by just to the north of the weather beater. And when it comes to our roads, there's nothing better. Those things are almost
Especially if they
black
can put 'em
gold.
down when it's hot.
Yeah. Crew spent a lot of time in the band shell of the city park and hope to continue with the landscaping work and repair the sprinkler systems in and around the band shell come spring. Leaf pickup has been very busy this year and they are stockpiling leaves and grass for compost. I will come back to that in just a second. All sprinkler systems are winterized, as well as the RV dump and the bathrooms at the campground and the visitor center. And then the normal mix of everyday tasks, water shutoffs, meter repairs, water sampling, wastewater sampling, garbage collection, tree trimming, line location requests, and assist with service line issues and mechanical repairs. Leaf pickup. Yesterday afternoon, Mike came in and what was the phrase he used? And I kind of agreed with him, lost faith in humanity over the leaf pickup. And we need to come up with a better way of doing this because some streets got picked up, 4 times. You go down a street, nobody's got leaves out there, so you pass it on by. You come back, nobody's got leaves out there, you pass it on by, and the one time you don't go down the street, there's leaves there. And we're spending time running back and forth unnecessarily, trying to pick up a pile here, a pile there. Yesterday, and everybody knows, we told them, put your leaves where? To the curb. Don't put them in the street. This lady put her stuff out in the street. And underneath the leaves had all of her flower pots had been dumped and they struggled to pick them up and the vacuum broke and they ended up having to go down and pick it up with the front skid steer. And she said, well, you guys didn't pick my stuff up last year and I wanted to make sure it got picked up this year. So I put it in the street.
Which goes to the problem of
Picking up
the
rocks.
manpower
Yep.
and one machine, we cannot physically pick up all the leaves in the town.
No. And we're gonna have to decide, when we cannot change that assessment. That street and tree assessment is set until 26 when it comes up for renewal. And that's a tree and sidewalk. So roughly of the $27,000 it raises, 13.5 is for sidewalks and 13.5 is for trees. And when we go around in the summertime and pick up branches with the tree truck, that's part should go to that budget and we end up going over budget. So we're gonna have to decide and work with Mike to decide if we say, all right, on this day, we're starting our cleanup and we're gonna make one lap through the town. And if you don't have your stuff ready to go, after that, you're on your own. You're gonna have to rake them and haul them.
Well, and we could do a route for him like Mike did when he was with, like the map that Mike put out for doing street rehab.
Yeah.
We could say, this is where it's gonna go. We could even make little signs, put in the corner yards, put them in the boulevard and say, hey, leaf pickup here tomorrow.
Because these guys could tell you, Tira and Tom could tell you how many phone calls we got for leaves. And a lot of them were the same people. And then the ladies somebody would call, the male, female, and say, that person has an in at City Hall because their leave's been picked up twice and mine haven't been picked up yet. So I end up hopping in my pickup and driving down and chatting with them and remind them that I'm the mayor and my leaves are still sitting in my yard. And if they stay there, I'll pick them up and I'll haul them off. But, we've got to find a semblance. And Mike said he's figuring between $5,000 and $7,000 worth of repairs to the vacuum this winter. So come leaf shedding next year in the leaf brigade, we're going to have a better plan in place. And Sarah, I don't know what the tree board, or your rep, but let them know that it was rather chaotic. All we were sure it was a monkey with little symbols, and some music at days trying to pick up leaves. So
I think it would be a great service to the community to have a route schedule. And I think that works well, not just for leaves, but for street cleaning, for anything. And
we have one for street cleaning. I'll make sure you get a copy of that. We have the emergency waste that get for the schools, for the hospital, for the beehive, for Choteau activities. We have that emergency routes planted on a map for
snow.
For snow, yeah.
No, but I'm just talking like street sweeping, like other towns I've lived in, on street sweeping days, you just move your cars to the opposite adjacent cross street, right? And then they go, I'm done next, and they just ticket and fine, and that's it.
And
then
we're
with leaves, it's just a one pass deal. It is
Yeah.
a one pass deal, and the only thing that deters it is, of course, the weather. Like if it, you know, you get buckets of snow, well, then that's that, and you move on. But I think it would help. I think that would be a great service and also save frustration. So people know when it's ready, when to be on the move.
I agree.
I wanted to recap on the water meter install.
Mhm.
250 meters have been installed.
Yeah,
Of the new meters, which is just over a third.
yeah, I knew we were about a third of the way through.
Just over a third.
And that's still just because they just trickle in, right? We get them as the supplier has them.
We have all the meters
We do have them
available,
all.
Yeah.
Okay.
but then
It's man hours.
the guys, yeah, did
Okay.
push, but then they had to do other things and can't get to it, so,
Okay. I knew at one point there was concern over
yeah.
supply chain
Yes,
issue.
but we do have all of the meters now, except for the big ones, not the big ones, but all
Right.
the ones for residential, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Tom.
And we just had a question. It could be verbiage where it says we have hauled. I know it was at the collective we, because I saw we had a bill for hauling.
We hauled some and we contracted some.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
wanted to clarify. Okay, that's fine. That's the
No,
royal
we did. We hauled, Kevin Kovacs was a road warrior.
And then
For it.
that last one,
Matt drove for us for a few days too. And then we were getting behind and we wanted to get them, and so 2Ws. They trucked them, and I think it ended up to be about $8.50 a yard.
Okay.
We can't crush gravel for less than $10.50 a yard.
That's
So
good.
it was a good
Okay.
deal for us to do that. And then some of the other communities wanted it as well. Fairfield and Dutton, I know we're trying to work with the contractor over there to get some as well. Tom, Tara, you got anything for zoning?
I forgot to ask for a report, but they really only been like one or two that came in for.
Any new houses?
There are some new houses coming. In fact, I did do one for up on, a new house on Country Club. And then, but there's another one or two that will be coming after that.
Okay.
But sorry, me being busy and forgot to tell her to do the report for we'll have two for that.
Okay. Councilman Merja.
Nothing for me to this. Nothing from me at this time.
I'll come back to you, Councilwoman McCartney Duty. Councilwoman Kokoli, how's that spicy neighbor of yours doing?
Good. I don't really have any.
He's not watering his yard anymore, is he?
He's not. He'll probably mow tomorrow. Not watering anymore. I had written down here a leaf pickup just to get an update, but you already covered that. So, yeah, it's nice to see, some decorations in the trading post window and the Collins Auction Services up there. It's nice to not drive by that building and see it empty.
I loved his Facebook post the other night saying he was struggling with window views and would somebody go by and critique them. Steve, Councilman?
I don't know about firemen are electing, officers stuff tonight, and they have new bylaws, so. From this point forward, we'll only be doing it once every 3 years instead of every year.
Do you have an idea of what they raised over the weekend with chili and cinnamon rolls?
I don't.
The kids loved that. Oh my, those little guys and girls dressed up in that turnout gear with that little 1-inch line, shooting those cones. Terry Ann, Mark, the Moores, Stacia and Corey's little guy from up in. The PR you made with that day was priceless, no doubt about it. I was disappointed there were more people there, but it was truly the last good weather. The forecast said it was opening day of hunting season, but it is what it is. Lots of good chili and lots of good cinnamon rolls. So Councilman McCartney Duty, this is the time we would go through and find out who's in your ward or the city per se has been chewing on your ears, asking you to bring something to us to discuss and go from there.
We're all good.
That was simple.
What's the trunk or treat plan? Steve D used to always give us the chamber. Do you have anything for the chamber? It are the.
4:30, and I know that the Booster Club's gonna do hot dogs starting, I think, 4:30, right there, that, no, I gotta come talk to Bill about using the lot. But Travis and Tara have, given up their wiener cart.
So we can
trailer
cook indoors.
For them, so they cook indoors. So instead of doing the barbecue that they did for the starting the school, they're gonna do the hot dog thing, for the trunk or treat, and it's gonna kick off, and then. So they wanna make sure kids got fed, and there'll be some water and chips with hot dogs and stuff.
Haunted house at the old Boy Scout hall.
It's closed, it's no longer available to anybody. Scott Hall is,
No, but the honor society is putting a haunted house in there.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Did not hear about that.
Sorry, that was.
Did they finally decide that's where they were doing it?
I thought that was,
Okay,
they're gonna run power from Beeler's office.
Oh, okay. But
Maybe.
they disconnected the power.
Urban
So,
legend.
could be.
A haunted house
But
without
that
power
businesses
before.
are also participating in the trunk or treat,
Yes.
right?
Um, from my desk, there's some correspondence. I owed Brett DeBruck. I sent Brett DeBrucker a letter. You guys should have a copy of it. That was sent out on some zoning stuff here across the street. Tom's looking at me like I didn't send that out to him.
Was I supposed to send it to them?
Yeah,
Oh.
whatever. We'll get it out. Working on some other stuff. Like I said, we talked about some of the vehicles that are sitting on the street. I'm learning every day. So's Tara, so's Tom. Every day we find something new that comes up. Thanks to Councilman Howard for coming in tonight and helping us walk through some stuff earlier as we're looking at water sewer connections and things like that. The city will be involved in trunk or treat. We will have our own little trunk or treat people out there. Tara's gonna take care of it. There was no city dollars spent on candy. My mayor bucks took care of that out of my mayor paycheck because I didn't want to have that happen. So Tara's taking care of the candy and that. I will be working with the Booster Club doing hot dogs and such. Next Tuesday night. Good luck to our girls this weekend as they head to district volleyball starting Thursday.
Or Thursday they play Cut Bank. If they win, they'll probably play Conrad on,
They play the winner Conrad Rocky Boy.
on Friday.
Yeah.
So
Um,
you gotta win 3 to go to divisionals. I think.
little guys basketball has started. The grade school basketball has started.
Yep, their
Junior-
first home game is November 4th.
Yep, junior high basketball's started, boys basketball started, and they hit the road Saturday for Browning, according to the calendar.
I think that's right. Yep.
Trying to think. We have a
Next
meeting, huh?
Next council meeting.
Yeah, election day,
November. Yeah.
November 2nd.
Mm,
I know your tacos are waiting.
No,
No, I've got,
not
I
November
have
2nd,
spaghetti squash.
Oh,
Chris,
what's that?
not November 2nd, 7th.
7th?
7.
Okay.
He did say 2nd, right?
I did,
Okay,
because I was looking up there. I saw October 2nd. I thought it'd be a day off, but I was wrong. What's that?
Frazier and Toss. You can find them on YouTube. They're amazing at concerts in high school. Starting at 7.
So that's the 7th at 7 will be the child. Okay, Choteau Arts. All right, we'll make sure we get that out there. I'll get that out on our social media pages too. Other than that, it was a very good time from an information standpoint when we were in Helena last week. Learning about what's going on across the state of Montana. I would tell you that I was elected to the board of directors for the Montana League of Cities and Towns as the 3rd vice president. So I will assume that role. Well, I assume that role at the end of that meeting because that's the way their calendar terms go. Tammy Comer from the city clerk in Fairfield was elected to down as well to one of the boards, correct, Tom? And so we have some representation from within our area down there. A great chance to sit down and chat with Mayor Tacky and find out what's happening down the road. And I had a phone call from him today and I'll get back to him tonight. strangely said it wasn't to do with the city, it was an insurance question, which scares me more than anything to do with the city when they call. But I think we're making progress on things, and I apologize that it takes me some time to get back to folks, to get letters done, to get things put together, to get them reviewed and make sure that I'm not speaking out of turn and I'm not getting the city in any trouble. I
You know,
want
You could just email them back with your number, so-and-so, I
Yeah.
have survey numbers.
draw a number 999, and I'm not serving 4. But I've got to make sure that when I do these things that I review it, and then if it's got to go to either Jen or city attorney on the civil side or city attorney on the criminal side, they've got to go look at it and get it back. So it does take some time to get things done. So I thank you for your patience, but I will not ignore or avoid anybody. Phyllis, anything tonight? Brian?
Nope.
Mel?
Cemetery specialist for this development on,
I think we're asking for forgiveness on a loan, are we not?
Yeah.
So that you can pay. You want to revisit that a little bit?
Anyone here?
It's the pay to go out to meeting.
But I think it's pretty much just boilerplate, but that's just the normal process.
Yeah, Seth, when we were in Helena, they were handing these out to us for those that this is for the water, just the current project that's underway. These were ARPA dollars.
Yeah.
And in here, we show that what we used our ARPA dollars for, that they were in conjunction with that as match dollars. Okay,
It sounds like they're pulling your payments and vendors up. Okay,
I think so. If you're talking about the one to Craig,
one from to set.
I thought you knew one to say.
that one right there, yeah.
So there was a delay that part of the government did shut down for like 6 weeks
Yeah,
there. Switch over.
from late August till October 31st, we could draw no funds from them or request no funds from them. They were ending up their fiscal year and changing to new software.
They're going to release those funds at some point.
Oh, yes, they
Yeah.
started coming now, just last week I started getting them.
Reminder. You send
So I
cash.
did have to
And yeah,
kind of cover those with our own funds until we got reimbursed.
Yeah. the next phase 2 was pretty much underway for the water project, and that's the water line on. And new water tank up on the hill, so that will keep filling folks in more as we get more information and know when we're going to go to bid on that, hopefully sometime in January. So
So
here-
when would that new water tank happen? If it was
I think
to happen
Next year,
next fall?
yeah,
I
Okay.
think by next fall, they were planning to have phase 2 complete, or that's what.
Yep.
That's what I remember from what Colette has said.
And that should stop the seepage down the hill.
there is no seepage. That seepage on the hill is not coming from the tanks. We have spent, in my tenure, over $250,000 to prove that that's not, there's just a ribbon of water that runs through that hill. We dug it up,
Okay, good.
that
So
thing,
that's never gonna go away.
no,
I'm asking from a Sir Optimist point of view, right?
for the,
Because the walking path.
I know,
And we want to do some improvements to the walking path, but we have to take that into consideration because that's always going to be a factor if we went to any different surface.
can we help you culvert it underneath it?
Well, or you could put a French drain alongside of it. And divert the water.
But still, it's gonna have to cross it sooner or later.
Right,
No, if we can help if we can put a, if it's on the city property, which I believe the section you're talking about is,
like help pay for it or do it and be reimbursed for it or what?
I would talk to Mike.
Okay.
I'll make a note on that.
I actually found an old letter from the 70s or 80s that report that we hired a hydrologist who looked at the hill, and he might have been one of those guys with like the build stick,
Mhm.
but like claims that there is like a water vein in that hill.
Okay, good.
We have all
Good to
that,
know.
we have all the new hydrology reports from the LiDAR. that we
Okay.
can
I can remember
share, and Mike has it.
as like a,
I'll get that from you because we're writing some grants this winter for,
I remember in like 1976, 77, my grandparents moved back and we were standing on Airport Road, looking at that hillside with Ray Anderson, Eldon Cook, Tom Evenson, and I want to say Swartzel was the fourth guy there. And Ray said that there's a ribbon of water that runs about along that hillside and drains down by the country club and that. And he said, that's the only water you're gonna find, because if you get east of that, drilling a well, you're wasting your time.
Mhm. Well, how Norman just half mile north of there,
Went thousands of feet,
hundreds of feet, but
Yeah.
yeah,
so.
and found nothing.
Yeah.
So.
No, and we still get calls about the tanks are leaking, and we've done leak tests, we've dug them from top to bottom, and those pipes are bone dry.
We
Last
had
time-
Scuba divers that.
Yeah, we had scuba divers in there
I
doing
think
bubble
we had
tests.
divers in there, yeah.
When we dug them last time, the pipes were like here, and they were dug down to here, and the pipes are bone dry, and underneath the pipes about a foot is just crystal clear water pouring out of the hillside, and we tested, there's no chlorine, there's nothing,
It's spring water.
yeah.
Mhm.
So, all right, you guys, I will get you out of here if we've got nothing else till November 7th. Correct?
Thank you.
All right. Happy Halloween, you guys. Thank you.